Don't miss any content. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell.
Hey guys, welcome back to Sahara Football. Today we're going to have a listen to the interview between Odartey Lamptey and the Joy Sports team here. He talked about a plethora of things. We all know Odartey Lamptey. I've talked about him and his meteoric rise. Unfortunately, he did not live up to his potential according to a lot of people, and he did not do well as many people anticipated he would. He's now a coach and has his coaching badges. He talks about it in this interview. He also talks about his relationship with Ghana Black Stars coach AKONNor, his thoughts on Jordan Ayew so far, and why we haven't won the AFCON in so long, as him being part of the team as a youngster, I think 15 or 16 years of age, when he joined the Black Stars when they went to Senegal 92 and all that debacle and the final issues, everything. He talks about it in this interview. Let's go have a listen to it. Odartey Lamptey. If you're new to the channel, I advise you to subscribe to the channel and to click on the notification bell to get more updates.
I moved from England. I moved to Italy, and I was not having playing time. So there was a coach who saw me playing, and then he said he would like to take me to Argentina. The first thing came to my mind was Diego Armando Maradona.
Maradona, definitely.
So I said, why not? I mean, let me go and face that challenge. So I went to Boca Juniors. But what happened was Boca was having 5 foreigners, and in Argentina they only allowed
was 4. Sure.
So it was Chami, I think, a Cameroon striker.
Okay.
So they wanted to sell him. That deal didn't go through. So they gave me to their other club, which is Senior Santa Fe. So I was there for about a year, less than a year. But I think certain things happened. I lost a child there. That I stopped playing to take care of him, and due to that I couldn't continue on, and then that's why I decided to leave Argentina.
There were certain points. I mean, I'm very interested in the China bit for very obvious reasons, but there were certain points where there were issues of racism as well. You suffered some of it.
Oh, a lot. I mean, from Belgium to Germany and all that. But I always say that I believe in one thing. I went to Europe due to football. I mean, so I put those things behind me. I mean,
so you're saying that none of those incidents ever intimidated you?
Never. I mean,
never?
You.
Can you give me an example of something?
I mean, you score a goal and then you run to an opponent or the other direction, and then they will throw banana for you. And even your own teammate, you enter a dressing room, you say good morning, nobody will mind you.
I see. That's bad.
Very, very bad. But then that's as I mean, these things I know how I went through to become a professional. What I went through as a child to become a professional, I sacrificed a lot. So I won't allow this thing to intimidate me. So I just move on. But it's there.
How do you feel about it? I mean, you had a very tough mind. You had a big mentality at that time. You were focused, and it helped you to ignore. But how do you feel about it? There's been, for instance, from the Ghanaian angle, I mean, we've seen Kevin Prince Boateng's episode, we've seen Sule Ali Montare's episode, and a few others. How do you feel about it when you see all those?
Well, I feel bad. I think it's about time all these things should stop. But I always say that it's up to individual. I think we can't do without them, they can't do without us, and this thing will happen. So you just have to make sure you know why you are in Europe. If you are going to follow those things, I don't think it will help you. Maybe it will even break you down. So you just concentrate on what you are doing, and then you move on.
All right, now let's backtrack a bit and talk more about England, where over there, Liverpool are celebrating their 30th, their 19th title in 30 years. Obviously a very big, I mean, you played there at the time, and within that period, Liverpool was still waiting to,
yes.
I mean, tell me what your thoughts are about the season, how it has gone, and where Liverpool stand, within your space of relevance when it comes to club football around the world.
Well, with Liverpool, I would say, I mean, they also really encourage me to really play football. Somebody like John Barnes, I really follow him a lot.
Wow.
So I'm not surprised. I'm sure after the coach took over 4 years ago, things have changed, the way they play football. And, don't forget them, 2 of the African players or 3 of the African players that are there are doing very, very well for Liverpool. So me personally, because of even that, I'm very happy for them to win in this trophy. They've been waiting for a while after 30 years. So I'm happy. And then so I hope that it shouldn't stop from there. I mean,
I was just trying to subtract 30 from my age, and I'm realizing I was pretty young at the time.
Very, very young. Yes, I mean, when I went there, they have some very, very good players. John Bazi and Raj were all playing. They have a very good team. But at that time, I think Man U have taken over everything in England. So it was a bit difficult for them. These things do happen. There's a season that a club will take over, nothing you can do. So I'm sure they've done their bit. They wait a lot. They've invested a lot. And then sometimes when you do the right things, the good corrections, I'm sure this is the results.
From what has gone on so far, from the kind of quality that Liverpool have now, I'm sure you're monitoring, their form and all of that. What do you see happening that they can hit the 20th mark and now be neck and neck with Manchester United in terms of the titles? You see that happening within the next 2 or 3 seasons?
It will be difficult. It will be difficult. That's football for you. I mean, things change very quick in football. So I'm telling you, if you are not careful, even next year, playing top 4 will be very difficult for them.
Okay.
I was chatting with a friend this morning, and the friends was telling me that he will advise club to resign after everything,
so that he leaves with his head high.
That's it. But you see, football for you, the passion and sometimes the love that people have for football, you can't take decision for somebody, so it's up to him to take his own decision. But I think it will be very difficult for them to continue. I mean, look at Man City. If somebody will tell you that today Liverpool will come and do this kind of record, you won't believe it, because for the past 3 years, what Manchester City has been doing. But this football for you, anything can happen in football.
7 games to go, and Aston Villa are 19th, 1 place from the drop. Your former club.
Yeah.
Tough, isn't it?
Very, very tough. I mean, as soon as our former president, may he so rest in peace, Doug Ellis, Villa started going down. I'm sure they made some decisions that were not good. I was even surprised that they did not buy Jordan Ayew. I mean, when he went there for a loan, I think they should have, taken him. But, I'm sure they will correct their mistake, which I know it will be difficult now. I'm sure they will go and then maybe learn their lessons again and then come back strongly.
We mentioned Jordan Ayew, who has now warmed himself into the hearts of the fans in a unique way. He's now Ghana's top scorer in the English Premier League. What do you see him doing with the kind of pace that he's established now?
Well, I've said it, I think, maybe about 6 years ago, that I'm sure Jordan is going to be the next Tony Yeboah or to step in Asamoah Gyan's shoe. When he was going to England, I'm sure Villa called me to ask me certain things about him. And I told them his height, his qualities, and they were able, and then he was okay. As I said again, I was surprised that they didn't take him, but I'm sure we are even yet to see the best in Jordan, because I know him. I saw him as a child playing, and I know what he can do.
So then it means that you're one of the few people who disagreed with the massive public criticism that we sometimes gave him when he didn't get it right.
Those things that you can't take it away from football. I'm sure when it comes to the national team, it's not every day that you perform to the highest level. So these things will follow. But I mean, as somebody that have played before as a coach, I know how football is. I could see clear what Jordan can do in future.
You moved on to play eventually in China when you were wrapping up the career. And I remember very well that we used to watch the highlights on Kwabena Yeboah's show, Sports Highlights, on the national broadcaster, GTV. And there were many people who criticized you for taking that decision. They thought your quality was way higher than, and they thought also that China was not a competitive enough ground for you.
Well, that's true. I quite remember when I had that offer. I was in Germany by then.
Yeah.
So could you believe leaving Germany to China when it comes to football?
Yeah, from Rutherford, right?
Yes, Fjord.
Sure.
I was there for 3 years.
Yeah.
When the deal came on, I spoke to Anderlecht, Fjord, and they did not want me to go, but the guy was pursuing the team. I spoke to Otto Fister. I called him and I said, Otto, this is what has happened. I had an offer to go to China. Otto also said, no, you don't go. He also discouraged me not to go, but this guy was still forcing me. So I spoke to the president and he said, okay, we have 5 days off. You can go for 3 days and come back. So I said, okay. So I take that decision to go to China. Nathaniel, I was very surprised what I saw. So impressed, facility, stay there. No. I said, no, I won't come back again.
I see.
So after my first training, second training, well, they decided to put pen on paper on contract, and then we signed. And then, well, I'm sure they carried the money to come and even give to Gotterfield. So I just came a day or two, then I moved back to China. Let's say China gave me something back. Though I played in Europe for about maybe 7 years at that time. Going to China, yeah, as you said, yeah, people were criticizing you, football in China. But as I told you, what I saw in China, I'm not surprised now. Most of the stars are ending up there, going there. And the money was good, of course. I mean, the money was good. And as I said, I was there for 3 years, very happy. When I went, the team was, last but 4. We were able to finish top 4. And then the following season, we came second. So things were very happy. I was very lively again. I was very happy in my career again because Germany was on and off. I was finding things difficult in Germany.
Well,
but
you have mentioned the level of investment that you saw, that you were overwhelmed with the investment that you saw in China at the time.
Yeah.
It was way above your expectations. But I haven't heard you mention the quality as well, because like I said, people criticized you. Did you think the quality was good enough? You think that it drew energy out of you enough like it did?
Let me tell you something about China. China football is very good. It's not that low as we are saying it.
Okay.
When it comes to Asia, let's say Japan and then China.
Okay.
Even let's say Korea, they are in the same level.
Okay.
You see, in China, when you don't have pace, you can't play in China. When you are only skillful and you don't have speed, you can't play in China. Forget it. Until you have those two things. So their football is very tough for you to be able to survive there.
I see.
That's why sometimes they bring the top stars there because of money to also change their style of play. But I'm telling you, it's not an easy place to play at all.
Wow, interesting stuff. And so you'd even now you'd want to advise a player? At which stage would you want to advise a player to go to China?
Not to start your career. It depends. You see, sometimes in football we have levels. You see, I'm sure somebody wants to play to the highest level. Somebody not like that. So that one I won't advise you. But if you want to play to the highest level, I wouldn't say you can start your professional in China. You can end up in China, but not to start. You can make big money in China, but you can't make name. You can't make whatever you want to. But then you can start somewhere and then end up in China.
I see. Interesting stuff there. All right, so let's talk about the coaching journey. At the moment, you're focusing very heavily on the academy, but we saw you combine with AKONNOR at second 11 wise, and it was good to see. It was a refreshing thing from the point of view of a journalist and a fan, and a fan of football. It was good to see two ex-Ghana internationals combining to do that. What did that particular experience as second D? What did it contribute to your career as a coach?
Good one. It was a good start. It was my first place to coach, and I was very happy. I quite remember when the deal came. Your former colleague Charles Osei and Jamal, who approached me that if I would like to coach
Jamil Marabi,
yes, if I would like to coach second 11 wise, and I said why not? So I gave them. After speaking, we spoke. I told them to give me time. So immediately I called AKONNOR that we should meet, and this is something that has happened. So I told him, and he said, well, he wasn't in support of it. I think he was going to Germany. But I told him that we need to start somewhere. I mean, I don't think I can start coaching when I'm 50.
Yeah.
I have to start now and then learn certain things. So we agreed to take that challenge, and I'm sure it was a good challenge. We decided to change the face of the coaching. I mean, bring something different at the touchline, wearing suit and all that. It was difficult though. It wasn't an easy thing, but I'm sure I've learned a lot there. And the experience that I had there toughens me. Well, that's why after that, then I decided to come and set up my own soccer academy. But it was a good experience.
Let's continue around those lines. I mean, you worked with CK AKONNOR. There's been a lot of talk about speculation about the relationship that you have with him now, supposed friction between the two of you now, and what caused it and all of that. Say it one final time so that we're clear on it.
Well, I don't have any problem with CK.
When was the last time you two had a conversation?
Well, that was about maybe 7 years ago after we departed from Wise.
That is weird, considering that you have both played in the Black Stars and you've worked together and all of that.
I don't think so. I'm sure we all move on. I'm sure we are all busy doing our own thing. I'm sure after
he landed the Black Stars job.
That's it.
You are a major stakeholder when it comes to Black Stars business. You haven't called him to congratulate him?
Well, we did. I mean, we are on the same platform, so we all share.
But you didn't place a personal phone call?
No, I didn't do that. Not for any reasons. I mean, but I think we all have to support him. I always say that. I mean, he's a brother to all of us, and I think he's the first younger coach that have taken this job. And I'm sure with the support of all Ghanaians, I mean, CK should be able to succeed. Yeah.
So there is no problem?
I don't have any problem at all, Nathaniel. I don't have any problem. You see, in this life, you have somebody that we have so many type of friends. You can meet in a friend at work, but it's not somebody that you share your secret with. It doesn't mean you have problem. No. I don't see it like that. So I have friends. I have other friends, but there is not everybody that I'll call a friend. There are certain things I won't tell A. There are certain things I won't say. So that does not mean I have problem with somebody. No.
The last time I saw your little boy, he looks so much like you. Has the shape of your face very dark. He surely should play football, from my point of view.
Well, let's hope that he.
Is he exhibiting any?
I mean, it's too early now. It's too early now.
You haven't seen anything yet.
I haven't seen anything yet, but I hope.
I'm sure that even when they drop from the womb, they can start kicking their feet in the air. But would you love to see your son play?
Well, if this is what he loves to do, why not? I will support him fully. I mean, this is one thing I always say. I mean, my two girls, you can see them in other things. I don't force some because I've learned and I've listened, and I know that if you force somebody to go where that's not his talent, he end up even bringing a bad name to the family.
Yeah.
So you allow him to choose, and then you follow him. This is support.
This is a rather interesting one. Glad to know that the family is doing well. But all this long-running story that you've spoken about several times, I mean, you've spoken about it on several platforms, so we're not going to go into it. But one thing I'd want to know is that the relationship that you have with the three kids whom you realized were not yours eventually, because of which you had to move away from your first marriage and all of that. I'm sitting back and thinking these kids fell in the situation. It's not their fault. So how do you feel about them, and do you see them? Do you communicate with them?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'm sure the case is still in court. I'm sure. I think they just called the appeal case. I mean, the ruling has been given, but it's like the woman says she wants appeal. She's not happy with the ruling. So, but to answer your case, yes, as you said, I don't have anything against the kids. They are innocent. But I mean, due to one or two things, advice from my lawyers, there shouldn't be any communication.
There shouldn't be any communication.
Yes,
because for legal reasons.
Of course.
Okay.
Maybe I could say it will end up set in somewhere. So it's better. But I don't have anything against them.
Okay. When was the last time you saw them?
Oh, I have about, I think 7 years. I don't remember the last time. Yeah, I think this is 7 years since the issue came up. 7 years now.
I see. You've been advised by the lawyers not to have any communication with them. That is fine. I mean, from obviously this advice is coming from a professional, you know. But deep within you, do you sometimes feel you want to check on them or something?
No.
You don't.
No.
But we've all mentioned that they're innocent of all of this.
Yes,
they are not.
I know, and I mean, Nathaniel, I'm happy and thank God that this thing happened at the age that I can kick a ball again. I'm sure you should know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So sometimes you go
and I can see great evidence of it.
It will be sad, or I don't know how to put it, like where I couldn't kick football anymore, then I could find out this is the situation. I'm sure that should have been more painful. So you put things together, 1 and 2 together, and you decided to stay back, because at the end of the day, whatever happened, they are not yours.
In all of this, I'm interested in the point of recovery and that particular factor that helped you to just say, look, I need to move on and I need to, because many people still admire. I mean, I've gotten a few messages about your mental toughness and your mental strength. That obviously was a very tough time, which sometimes even got you to get suicidal thoughts and all of that. What was it, that one factor that got you out of all of this?
I think it's God. It's God. And I would just also say that thanks to my job, especially the academy, I'm sure as a guy, I pray that any guy shouldn't go through this kind of experience. But if this thing happened to you and you don't have a work to do, sorry.
So it was like a big distraction from the troubles.
That's it. I mean, my work was my everything. So if you see my academy now, it's like I started it way back. I was putting everything, was my passion was there, my love was there, everything. You know, so I think that's what keep me going, you know. And then God spoke to me in 1 second. Don't do it. That's it. I've moved on.
Okay. So that day, what was it that you wanted to drink a substance? You wanted to hang yourself? You wanted to shoot yourself?
I mean, let me keep it to myself.
We've moved on from there, haven't we? Look, the academy system. You are a key player within the academy system now. There are those who criticize the academy system that it's business, purely business, and it doesn't necessarily help these young ones to develop themselves. So it's killing the coach system, and the coach system is something that is a system you have emerged from. Yeah. What's your response to that? What's your position on that subject?
Well, I do disagree with that comment. You see, sometimes I'm sure we can disagree and agree, but when it comes to this, you know, course and academy, I'm sure now you can say yes, freely. Anybody who wants to do academy should do it. How many people will have time and spend their money like they used to do? My days, Alhaji Njeme, he so rest in perfect peace. Kalum Stars, he had his money. I mean, you can go and play match, he will feed us and all that. Today, who will do that? So you see, until the FA will say that, okay, maybe I have 10 academy coach club in Greater Accra, that I will give them maybe every season maybe 200 million, 2,000 Ghana cedis to run the academy, because nobody will use his money to do this kind of thing. Like 30 years ago it happens. That's why we have seen the falling of the coast. But you see, when it comes to academy, it's a private thing. It's my private business I'm doing. I have partnership in Europe that they invest. At the end of the day, we all want something back. So it's business. So it means like you are investing your child in a school, you should be able to invest your child in an academy. So even your better is even safer in the academy than the coast. Because when it comes to coast, there's no any coast club in Ghana here that can boast with maybe even 10 or 20 football at their training ground.
I see.
And when you say, if you talk about club licensing, go and watch the pitches that these young guys are training. Yes, you could say that that's where I started from. But in life, we move on. We move on. things change. You develop. In Europe, there's no club. Maybe 90% of all clubs in Europe have academy. Are they not doing better than us? And we say we are learning from them. So I think yes, there's nothing wrong if you have your passion and you think you can still continue with course. I mean, why? No problem. But I think it will be very, very difficult for the way we were enjoying course for other kids to enjoy it now.
Let's talk about you and your coaching career. What's the next move away from your academy? What's the next line of focus for you?
Well, my door is open. I mean, I have my CAF license A. I can coach any club in Ghana here or any national team. So, you can never say, when it comes to football, you can never say never. So my door is open. If any time I've been called to serve, I mean, why not? Though I have my academy, I coach them and all that. But if the need come and I have to give a help somewhere, why not? I should be able to do that. There's no problem at all.
I see. You're open. But obviously, we all have our targets. We all have our specific places of attraction. So, for instance, between maybe like a club job, maybe outside on the African continent, maybe like in South Africa, and maybe like a national team job if it were available, which of them would you go for?
Well, I would prefer the national team, but I'm sure I don't think I'll go straight to the senior national team. I can start with the youth side and then take it from there.
We haven't been successful at the Under-17 FIFA World Cup for quite some time now. It's been since 1995.
Yeah.
What's the problem with us from your point of view?
Well, Nathaniel, there's so many things that have changed, but I'm sure most of the FA presidents are aware of this. So I'm sure if you want to change to be successful at the junior level, I'm sure there are certain things have to be done. Well, I wouldn't say people like us should be there, but if they are able to give us that opportunity, we should be able to change those things gradually. You know, I know it's difficult to say this thing in air. Otherwise, I'm sure you step on so many big people's, toes. So the best thing is maybe, as we all know that this is what is happening, gradually we should be able to stop it, which I know is going to be very difficult because football is a big business now. People are using this football to make money. So there are so many ways they will find their way into this system. But as I said, if people like us that we know these are the people, and we have a lot of people who knows this. I mean, the likes of Atram, you can mention them. I mean, Augustin Hinfo and co. If you are able to be there, and then gradually, it will be difficult though, but we'll get there. We'll get there. I know it's not easy, but we'll get there.
I see. Your former teammates and those who played around your time. I mean, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine in Belgium. She was telling me about a few of the guys. They came a few generations after you, the likes of Sebastian Barnes and all these other guys, scattered all over, in different places in Europe and America. Are you in touch with them? Are they concerned as you are, and are they interested in coming to contribute to the process?
Oh yes, as I said, we are on this platform that all of these guys are in. So we talk to each other. I think even Bas is coaching one of the youth team in Germany, Leverkusen. So yes, these are something that they would like to do if given the opportunity. They should be able to help. I always say that when it comes to football, when people play football to the highest level, it's like they have degree in education. They have diploma in education. It's the same. So you can't take that thing away from them. If given opportunity, they should be able to do well.
Now, to the Ghana Premier League, you've been part of it before. We were in a very, very difficult period. There are many who are advising that we go to the games and follow suit with what is happening in Europe and play without fans. There are those who are asking for government to include sports and for that matter football in the stimulus package. We received some indication that some considerations are being made. There are those who also think that it is a no-no to play football at this time. Those from the medical point of view as well. But there are those from the sports point of view who also think that without the fans, the game just cannot happen. So we might as well hold on. Where do you stand?
Well, I think when it comes to the league, if it's to continue the league, I will leave that one to FA to take their decision. But for where I will come in, maybe the teams should be allowed to train. I think, this are one of the exercise is one of the way of boosting your immune system.
Exactly.
So allowing, I don't know how many clubs or how many players to stay away from doing exercise, I think that's where my problem lies. So I think if the clubs can start their own training, I'm sure with what is happening, most of the clubs will take the proper measures, protect their players, even test them, give them the proper diet to be able to protect themselves from this virus. With the money, well, I would like if government can help, I think it will be very good, because I'm sure we are all in there. It's not easy to run a football club, I'm telling you. Very difficult. So if the government can help, it will be very good.
Tell me about your personal experiences with Abedi, in the Black Stars team when you got in the first time. And what impression did he make on you?
To be honest with you, I was dying to play with him.
I see.
From afar, of course, somebody who have won African Footballer of the Year is playing for Marseille, and what he's doing for Ghana. So playing together with him was like a dream come true. And of course, you could see clear when he's playing, when he's on the pitch. You can't take anything away from Maestro. So it was a good experience, a good leader. So that's why I say, we missing him at that finals 1992 was a big blow for us. If Abedi was in that match, I'm sure we should have brought that trophy home.
How do you feel now that you see a lot of conversations about the politics, the political factor contributing to it, the politics about who led the team, who did not, the captain's band, everything? You are assigning Abedi Pele's absence. A couple of them have assigned the captain's armband and where it went as the reason why. How do you feel about it now that you sit down? I'm sure you've monitored all of the conversations that have gone on the past few months.
Yes, but as I said, I'm sure the person who was leading us, Otofisa himself, came out and said that he apologized. He apologized. So I think we should leave it where it is and then move on.
In recent times we've had the former coach Kwesi Appiah having to talk about the non-payment of his of monies owed him. How do you feel about all of these? And I was just having a conversation earlier with a friend of mine today, and I was telling him about how I feel. I thought we should be moving away from this era where people are still owed. I don't know how you feel when you hear these kinds of stories pop up in current day 2020.
Well, I feel sad, and I think these are some of the things that, as I said, is taking us back. I think when a coach employ an ex-footballer, he should give him that respect that is capable of doing the job. Not that we are helping you. This is a problem with we Africans, or maybe a Ghana. When maybe a coach, a team employ me now, they are not thinking of my caliber, the experience I have, what I can give back, but they think that, this guy is poor, we are going to help him, which is bad. That's why we are facing all this. But if we are, there's no way we employ a white man, excuse my language, and then treat him like that. And there's no way these Europeans, Lampard, Guardiola, and co, they will treat them like that. So if we are able to change this kind of attitude, And then we know that when somebody's employing you, Odartey Lamptey, with the pedigree, with experience, you know that he's going to get the best. I'm sure all these salary things or all this will stop.
Yeah, so you heard from the man himself, Odartey Lamptey. What an exclusive and extensive talk here, talking about the payment of coaches, talking about when you should go to China as a player. He predicted that Jordan Ayew would be so good during the times when we were talking so much about him and his incapabilities. It's quite amazing. So that has been it for today. Make sure to smash the like button and click on the notification bell. I'll see you guys in the next one.